Hello everyone and welcome to the third and final round of the bonus action of the 2019 MVP Open. This Disc Golf Pro Tour event, of course, brought to you by MVP Disc Sports. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, giving you Patreon supported bonus action, and we're glad you could join us again. Here's round 3, hole number 1, 835 feet. Clearly, you have to get over the water. You'd love to land right about here. I feel like you'd rather be a little bit left than right. But I guess we've got so many great players that can throw the Anheuser or a forehand into the green. You'd love to be able to see the basket, though, because that hopefully will make things easier for you. And Ricky Wysocki. Just nearly perfect position. And now, out of California, we have Armando Ensenat. That's the last time I'm going to attempt his last name. Sorry, Armando, if I don't have that right. It looks turned over, but it stays in bounds. Nikko Locastro, of course, a previous winner here at this event. Now this is the 5th card, and again, bonus coverage. Thought you guys might like to see a little more action. And I think that introduction says it all. This is Kevin Kohltrain, all the way from Worcester. So he is right there. He is as local as they get. And let me tell you, it's going to get rowdy. And what a smash here on the opening hole.
I've been enjoying the hell out of it. Thanks for coming.
Scooter getting us started as AJ Risley is going to be on the single camera action yet again, as he's been all weekend. Huge props to him after the injury that he was currently trying to nurse. And Armando just playing for the position here. If you're not in a good position, you're not going for that green and even thinking about a birdie. I'm back to the single camera, single commentary action. So there will be a direct link if you want to listen or watch all of this without any commentary and just listen to on-course audio. My Patreon subscribers had access to that a few months ago. So if you're one of those haters that can't stand listening to what's going on, feel free. We've got an audio-less commentary version or something like that. Nikko comes up short. Ricky just perfect position. Oh, and what a mistake by Wysocki. If you wanted to land realistically anywhere on this fairway on hole number 1, you would have put your mini where Ricky was. Assuming you don't get it even closer, of course. Looks like both Kohltrain and Armando setting themselves up for the pars. This is Nikko. A long bid. He's got to be a little bit careful there because you can go over the OB wall very easily. This is Rick to save his par after such a great drive. During this third round, this averaged as the 7th most difficult hole, or played as, and averaged 4.35. So more than a third of a stroke over par here to get things started. You see not much wind, at least not here on the green. And to put it in perspective, sometimes you see rounds of 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10 as a solid round. So after 2 rounds, these guys all starting in that 5 and 6 neighborhood.
Yeah, dude, all day. It's awesome.
We're going to move over to hole number 2, 350 feet. Huge shout out as we're watching this flyover yet again. Gatekeeper Media providing all of the flyovers for the Disc Golf Pro Tour during this event. And this one's pretty straightforward. You really need to stay off that right side wall OB. This is a good way to do just that. Here's the roller. And unfortunately, not sure where that finished up.
Oh yes, I should just throw it in the weeds, because that always works good over there.
I beg to differ. It doesn't usually work well. That was definitely wider than what we just saw by Armando. Easy to sit before finding the wall, and unfortunately it does go over the wall. And Ricky with just a frozen rope on a frozen rope. Beautiful Sunday afternoon as this action's unfolding. I was hedging my bet. If anyone's going to make a huge run for the title, okay, they weren't making a run for the title, but if anyone's going to bust out a huge round, I'm betting on this card. Hence AJ on the coverage. Kohltrain trying to save his par and just short. See a little movement going on just behind the basket. So he has to stand down for a moment as the next card is in the middle of playing hole number 3. Ricky, meanwhile, taps in for the birdie. And we'll go with a little flow of play. It looks like they might be actually looking for a disc over there. Looks like maybe even Thomas Gilbert up there in the background. Oh, and he makes the wait worth it. Sweet birdie. And Nikko will tap in for the par. So a birdie, 2 pars, and a bogey on a hole that averaged 3.06. Move over to hole number 3, 410 feet. You need a little bit of left to right, something that maybe is turning over at this point just slightly and then maybe fights back. Find yourself up here on this slightly mounded green. This comes in as the 4th most difficult hole on the course. Just 9% of the field finding birdies in round number 3. We'll see if it's any of these guys. Wow. Not only did it seem to keep going, but then when it did hit something, it kicked him almost right into the center of the fairway. If somehow you come up short of the initial rock wall, you are actually going to be out of bounds. So if you hit one of these very early guardian trees, you'd be out of bounds, and that doesn't hook up for Ricky at the end.
Something after every shot. I've never just thrown a shot.
It's funny, I was just thinking the exact same thing, Nikko. And I didn't know if I should comment or not, but you've done it for me. I was about to say, though, if there's anyone that throws a turnover flex shot, Nikko's the best in the game. And then there's Kevin. I feel like he could throw it 100 feet out of bounds and he'd get a roaring applause. that looks good. Solid approach there for Rick. Nikko's still talking to his disc. And then after Armando kicked back into the fairway, he's got the easiest approach of the group. Maybe that's what you guys could tell me in the comments as Nikko makes his par. Do you guys believe in the whole talking to a disc? Do you think there's any kind of karma or juju or good or bad vibes that are when somebody's watching a disc and all of a sudden they say nice and then immediately hits a tree? Do you guys believe in that? Some people are really adamant about it. I've even heard pros yell at other pros and say, "Don't talk to my disc." So that's what I'd like to know. That'll be one of a few questions I'm going to ask you guys. But leave that in the comments if you feel like you believe in any of that. Looks like we've got a par frame. And of course, MVP, as we said, the title sponsor here of this Disc Golf Pro Tour event held at the beautiful Maple Hill Gold Course. So we move to our shortest hole found on the course, and it comes in as the 15th most difficult, averaging 2.93. And we can hear it. Must have hit some good wood down there, and it appears to have stayed inbounds. Ricky!
Get it! Go in! Heads up, scuba diver! Whoa. Whoa, dude. Try to hit the scuba diver. Man, you know what? Wow. That was awesome, Ricky.
Rarely do you see Ricky throw out of bounds and still have a big grin on his face, but looks to be the case there. And there you heard it. Everyone yelling at his disc.
Oh, there we go.
I wouldn't have been happy about that.
No, dude.
Like that was at the ground. Didn't even have angle.
Hitting on that left side. Now, I'm not from the East Coast, clearly. I don't know if my accent, my Midwestern, yeah, don't you know, accent's giving it away, but for anyone that's from the East Coast, please tell me you could easily confuse Kevin Kohltrain with Mike Mosier. I've seen Mike playing for 20 or 30 years, and when I first stepped up to this card, I thought, oh, that's clearly Mike Mosier. Maybe I'm crazy. And if you don't know who Mike Mosier is, you need to do some disc golf history. Nikko waiting for the gallery on hole number 8 to simmer. And they do, and Nikko's not afraid to wait for anything. Good birdie. We'll see if Armando can pick up the birdie on the relatively easy par 3. Average 2.93 as they take a very short walk over to hole number 5. And hole 5, most people will play out over the water. playing a big ante shot, whether it's a backhand turnover or a forehand, depending on how skilled you are. This also comes in as a little bit under par, averaging 2.96, and is the 13th most difficult. Also famously aced by Greg Barsby and a number of players throughout the years. See what Nikko can do with the forehand. He wants it in.
Oh, damn. How'd that miss?
Oh no, I thought it was a ringer.
Yeah.
Let's see if Ricky has enough. And no problems. And if you can't tell already, I know AJ's out there working as hard as he can with the single camera for the action, but there's a couple holes out here that are really difficult with how tight the fairways and the lines are. Get that flight, and Kohltrain with the birdie. We'll see if this can start off a star frame by chance. Just on the other side of the pond is the 8 holes. So Rick comes up short. Meanwhile, Armando's got to reach out to his right. He's close enough that he doesn't have to put enough on it, but if he puts too much on it, he could go past the basket, find the OB pond. None of that matters as I'm babbling on. He just finds the middle of the chains for the birdie. Nikko with CTP. Everyone's trying to pick up an additional stroke on Ricky here. I feel like Nikko's playing hide and seek with us right now, and he's definitely winning. I don't know what number we have to count to, but he's winning. Said something about playing for 3 minutes. I don't know, but we'll see who picked up the birdie, because now you move over to hole number 6, which comes in as the most difficult hole relative to par. 375 feet. You're pushing all the way down this tunnel. The rock wall on that right is out of bounds. You see there's a little white string, so to speak, that actually is the official OB line. And then either a terrible shot or a shot that hits a tree and then kicks left could find the pond OB on the left side. This hole is no joke. And that somehow kicked up and over the rock wall. That's going left, but we don't see any flag indicators telling us it's out of bounds, so I think he'll just have some work to do. And this looks like a really good safe shot. Hopefully. We'll see how obstructed he is, but I feel like if you're playing this hole for a 3, just trying to pipe it dead straight, not necessarily even playing the turnover to get it all the way to the pin, is your safest bet. And Ricky might have a long look at birdie, maybe with a few of those island trees in his way. At least it did kick to the right. If we're looking for a silver lining here, kicking off either straight or to the right a little bit gives him a long look at a jumper to possibly save something from there. And Nikko hits the line. He would have loved about 20 more feet of power. Kevin. Wow, and the fact that he even had that much of a look is pretty incredible.
I reckon that's going to be me, Rick.
Armando looks to be probably right around the edge of circle 2. I'd give him at least 60, maybe 70 feet from here. I don't see any flags, but I'm guessing it's about that far. Yes! Wow, that is a bogey the hard way. Finding the OB and then canning that putt. That's incredible. Wysocki could pick up 2 here on Armando. You see Nikko and the orange flag there. That should be the 10-meter circle. So Nikko's just inside of that. This is for par. Solid putt by Locastro. So we're looking at potentially 3 pars, yeah, as Kohltrain taps in. 3 pars in the impressive bogey. So believe it or not, that's better than the average here on this hole, which was 3.7. So those guys trying to lower that average as we go up hole number 7, 370 feet. And this is no joke. Again, playing up this trail, this path. We're going to go past that short basket. I believe that was in play for the women in the 2019 version here. And this comes in as the second most difficult. So you go from the first most difficult to the second most difficult.
Yeah!
And just behind this tee is the green of hole 1. So to put that in perspective for you, we're no more than 75 feet, maybe 100 feet from the green of hole 1. So whether it's the chase card or the lead card, not too far behind. Large gallery.
Saying Canada national anthem? Yeah.
Hey, that's what they
Thomas, yeah.
Really?
Thomas, yeah. Thomas, he's from Canada. Oh, yeah.
This average is 3.45, so almost a half stroke above par.
That's pretty fun over there.
I was just going to say, I don't think that's good. That's basically near the walkway that you would take to get over to the long tee of the next hole, hole number 8. I don't have much to say to that. I feel for you. Wysocki peers the gap. Oh, that's incredible. That's exactly what you'd like to be doing on this hole. Although a little bit of height to it. And a little more hyzer than probably Wysocki's, but he's still maybe out of the gap and looking at a putt at least. And Kohltrain trying to do some work here. Pretty solid forehand. We'll see what that gives him for a look. We'll see how creative Nikko can get. I've seen him do some pretty unorthodox and incredible things with this. Looks like he's lining up a thumber. Not sure if he wants to go mostly in air and have it skip once it hits the ground, if he's trying to kind of play it on its back. Looks like he was just trying to kind of get it to get on its back and then pop up and slide from there. Kohltrain not quite out of the woods yet. But the middle is circle 2 here for Armando, probably about 40 feet. All right, so that's just, what's he got, about 100 feet of putting in the last 2 holes on the 2 hardest holes on the course? Solid. What he's doing there is stepping it off to see where he is relative to the 10-meter circle. And if you're not familiar with it, anytime you're at that 10-meter line or inside of it, you're not able to fall forward during your putt. That's considered a falling putt. You get penalized, all that good stuff. And so he was stepping it off to see just how far. The orange flags also notate that out on the course. However, sometimes the orange flags may not be all the way around. Man, I wish I had that kind of cheering for a bogey. That'd do a lot for my psyche. And Nikko went what looks to be a little bit deep after his thumber approach. Just getting some footing back there is going to be tough enough. That's not a very common place for our players to be on this particular hole. I could all but guarantee Nikko also didn't practice from that spot. Such a good run. He goes with the forward spin putt, just a bit short, just inches short. Now Wysocki finds himself with CTP and capitalizes. Pretty incredible stuff here. This is the second most difficult hole on the course. And we just saw 2 birdies. And to put that in perspective, there were only about 8 birdies by the entire field, and you just saw 2 of them. We move over to hole number 8, such an iconic hole. And, well, this is pre-gallery behind the basket. So this is what it looks like before the crowd gets there and gets wild. And they're here and ready for the show. We've heard them almost every single hole leading up into this point. Let's see how Rick can follow up his birdie.
There we go.
Oh, would have been so epic with that gallery hanging out behind there. Just turn it over. Can it stay? See Dan Nye of Local Route Photography back there. One of the best photographers we see in the game. Nikko with a forehand. He's going to play it wide left. I love the angle. And this 5th card is here to put on a show. pumping up the crowd. We'll see if it pays off. He's going to need that to sneak through. And he finds himself safe. Not quite the ace run we saw from a couple other competitors. Armando here goes to the drop zone. Let's see if he can keep the streak alive. Well,
they're ready to clap for anything. They're like, as soon as it finishes.
Here's Kohltrain. Come on, if you don't have goosebumps after that, come on. Ricky getting some love and just incredible. What a feeling for Kevin, the local guy. And the only thing that could top hole 8's enthusiasm is maybe when we get to 18, the best green in disc golf. Meanwhile, we got to move over to hole 9, 420 feet. You have to get to the top of this hill. That gives you the best look and the angle to know where you're throwing to try and get down to this pin. Averaging 3.94. So pretty close to the par 4 that it's marked at. Not a good effort, but a great result. And sometimes that happens in disc golf, Rick. The flex shot there by Nikko. That looks pretty good. Sounds like the gallery is impressed by the next card coming through.
No.
On hole 8.
Oh my God.
Jesus, that was too stressful to watch.
I know, man.
Dude, they're genuinely sad.
Someone misses, yeah.
They're like, they feel for him. I can tell.
Nikko and the rest of the card may be feeding off that energy. He says, here's Armando, and I like the angles to have the power. Oh no. It almost landed on the bridge, which I believe is in bounds. Don't quote me on that. I don't know much. Okay.
Good sit.
Good shot for Nikko.
Scariest 120-foot shot I've thrown in the tournament.
Nikko reflecting on the difficulty. It's got to get over, and it does now. That's a tough spot to be. Yes, he's on the green, but in order to give it enough power to get up and into the basket, he's got to draw metal, because if he doesn't draw any metal from that spot, he's going to find himself directly in the water. Right behind him. Ricky a little bit closer. This guy is unstoppable. And I must be incorrect that the bridge must not be Kohltrain. Had the bridge been inbounds, I think he would have taken it from there. So the bridge itself must be out of bounds. This is Nikko for his birdie. Kohltrain, No Fear. Putting just before Nikko. Great birdie by Locastro. Rick's hoping to follow suit. AJ Risley trying to give a little of the scenery here as where he's picking on Armando, which I don't think is the case, but there it is. Full recovery. Gotta love it. As we go over to hole number 10, 380 feet uphill. 8th most difficult. Kevin Jones, who we saw in the first round, was talking about this hole recently, saying that he feels like it may be as much as a 500-foot power shot to try and get up and onto this platform. We saw him do that in round number 1. Just raw power required. And that one comes up just short of the tower there for the castle, as many call it. Nikko has no shortage of power.
Oh my goodness, yes. What the fuck are you doing, man?
Kohltrain's up. I'm starting to wonder if Armando even cares where he throws his shot, because he's just going to make the putt from wherever it goes. Looks like he is obstructed here. See if he's got any other trickery in the bag, and that doesn't quite get flipped over on its back. Need a little bit more angle to it. So full disclosure, you guys are hearing me do this commentary in the 2020 season, as that's just off the rim. Of course, COVID-19 has plagued the entire world, but also the disc golf community. And so it's really interesting to be consuming so much footage from 2019, knowing what we've experienced here in 2020. And I just want to send a huge thanks to Ricky. Come on. Rick letting that birdie get away from him. Huge thanks to AJ for doing the additional camera work, which I was glad to hire him for, so that you guys would have the bonus coverage. And then all my Patreon subscribers, which in turn helps me pay someone like AJ Risley to go out and be a cameraman. And I know some people would love to have pros or multiple people doing the commentary rather than me doing it solo, but that's just really a product of efficiency, just trying to get it done. Trust me, I don't want to sit and make you listen to me either, but sometimes when we're off-site, it's just easier to get it knocked out on my own. And we're going to take a look at hole 11, legit disc golf out of Texas. Super great guys over there. I feel like this is one of the easier par 4s, and actually I'm going to cheat. I'm going to look at U-disc. And surprisingly, this is the 11th most difficult, so it's just about in the middle in terms of difficulty, averaging 4.07. And this is a time when players can just really let one rip. I said, outside of hole number 1, this is probably the most open hole you find on the course. Kevin's gonna, or correction, sorry, Armando's playing the turnover, a little bit of light fade. Doesn't appear that we... Oh, we won't worry about Rick. And let's see if that hits the gap. Get through there. So he does make the initial gap, but then hits one of the later trees. He'll still have a look at birdie. I was actually waiting for Nikko to make a comment. I feel like he could be kind of my... Never thought of that. He could just be kind of the on-course commentator because he talks so much during and after his shots that I should just let him take over the commentary anytime he's throwing.
Armando, did you used to play Ultimate?
And, oh, and AJ doing his best to exclude Ricky's coverage from hole 11.
Come on.
That is incredible. Both Kevin and Armando putting on a putting clinic. Now, let's be fair here. If I told you we're going to watch this card with Ricky and Nikko, and Kevin and Armando, and I say we're going to have some massive putts and maybe even a little bit of a putting show that gets put on a highlight reel, I don't know if you guys would have said, oh yeah, Kevin and Armando are going to be the ones doing that. This has been incredible. Nikko cards the birdie. All right, things are pretty tight here on the fifth card. We're going to move over after getting a little look at the black hole portal. Thanks to MVP. 650 feet for hole 12, Savage Apparel. A supporter here, 19% of the field finding birdies here. We'll see if our card can do it. Looks to be a bit windier here during the whole preview provided by Gatekeeper. Not so windy here during our third and final round on Sunday afternoon. And getting to the top of the hill is crucial here just because I feel like it gives you a look at the basket and gives you a little bit easier target to know exactly where you need to throw it.
Flip harder or get down in there and that's gonna be
Okay. Again, Nikko calling the shots for me. And if that holds the line, that's going to be pretty good. He would have loved for that not to fade quite as much. Seems like he's got a little air under that for Armando. I think that's going to be a difficult approach. If you're short, you want to be at least on that right side. I feel like Ricky should be setting himself up. And this is what I mean. If you're short and on the left side, you're just always going to have a tough angle to get around this group of trees that are right here that start the gap. And that's going to be low. If he had it up another 5, maybe 8 feet on that exact angle, I think that would have probably carried all the way to the pin.
oh, you bitch. Yo, yeah. Go, baby, go. Nuts.
I think Nico's confused about if he likes it or not. Kohltrain does. As does his fan club. Wow, and that really leaked hard left for Nikko or for Ricky. Sorry. And as Nikko just said, Ricky actually had a long putt from the position he was in, and that's an incredible drive if you're looking at a putt from there. This is Nikko for birdie. And the 50-footer rolls back at least halfway to him. All right, well, we all knew he was going to make that. Nikko trying to save his par here after a nasty rollback. I think he called his disc a name earlier. Might not have liked that. So he's got the easy par. Now Rick, routine birdie here. And Kohltrain had the best approach of the group. He's trying to push himself to 8 under with a birdie. AJ Risley panning out to give you the majestic look of hole 12's last third of the hole. We're going to move over to hole 13, move into the last third of the course. An unplanned segue there. Discbaron.com, huge supporter of my Disc Golf Guy video blogs, stepping in and helping out whenever he can, and I can accept it and really appreciate it. Make sure you check them out. This is down the tunnel. That's turned over for Kohltrain. All you can hope for is that maybe it hit one of the trees, kicked him down into the left. Armando gonna hope for the same. Oh, and Rick says it's time to go big. Throwing it up and over. I don't know if someone just said Rick Trickle, but they certainly should have. Someone check the tapes on that. And Nikko also going to go up and over.
Get down.
So 405 feet, the downhill. Hole number 13, this averages 3.22, which is actually quite surprising that this is averaging that much above par. And Nikko not quite clean. I know I mentioned in round 1, this green is tricky because if you're more than 15 feet from the pin, you're probably down in a ditch or have some kind of goofy terrain to deal with. And Armando puts it right next to the pin so he doesn't have to worry about that. But you see, Ricky's 55, 60 feet away, and look how much lower that he is than the basket. And that's something they always have to deal with. And now Kohltrain, who's no more than 20, 25 feet, he has to deal with the same thing. And even look like Nikko might be a little bit undulated. I don't know if a person can be undulated. Undulated terrain?
It's better than nothing.
I feel like AJ is unknowingly second-guessing my commentary right now, and I don't blame him. So now, even after missing his 25-footer, he comes back, has another 25-footer from down below the basket. That's perfectly illustrating what I'm talking about. Nikko secures the par. I think we'll see the same by Ricky and Armando.
Crunch into it and drop. That's the farthest I've been on the hole. 40 feet.
Ricky talking about his plan. We'll see what he's doing in 2020. Hole 14, the beautiful, iconic hole 14. 420 feet downhill, water clear for most of the way. We talked about it in the previous rounds. You cannot just bail out anywhere left, because if you're too far left, your approach shot can be actually very difficult. But of course, attacking the pin and trying to get it close is no easy task either. And the pressure mounts because there's a sizable gallery that has now moved over. And they're going to hang out behind this green on 14. Ricky's pulled that hard right.
Oh, yeah.
Hey!
Oh,
Hurry up, Cam.
and local Cam runs over there, gives them the green. This is the 6th most difficult hole. See if Nikko plays a flex shot. That's pretty straight. All right. Seemed like the guys on the tee were a little more excited than the gallery down there. Their vantage point might have been what was keeping their excitement at bay. I feel like Kevin could throw this 400 feet into the water and there's going to be an eruption of excitement.
Come on.
Come on, baby.
Let's go.
Go, sit.
So in its own right, just 4 tee shots inbounds is a little bit of a moral victory for the group. Armando, a little too much. This is Kohltrain with the gallery. He did it on 8. What can he do here? Incredible as Kohltrain. Oh, and he big putts Ricky Wysocki. And then some. Kohltrain, a death putt, water directly behind the basket. Dead center chains. Nikko's going to take his time. Solid putt by Locastro. And now Armando, after going out of bounds, he gets to play it from where he was last inbounds. So this is a return putt, just trying to get off the hole with a bogey 4. So a hole that averages 3.38 saw 2 birdies, a par, and a bogey from this card. As we go take a look at hole number 15, flying directly through this very tight gap. This is a little tougher. I feel like this is tougher than it looks. 355 feet. And you're just trying to pipe it dead straight. Nikko goes with a little bit of a turnover. No surprise there. Not quite clean enough, though.
Oh, no.
And I know I said it in a previous round coverage. That's really seems like the worst place to be is down and left. However, I don't think Kevin cares where he is. He's got this gallery behind him. That's a great shot by Wysocki. Armando trying to erase the bogey from the previous hole. This is the third easiest hole on the course relative to par, averaging 2.92. The gallery telling us everything we need to know there. And it looks like even AJ Risley may be a little out of position. It's really tough when you have a shot that goes left and a shot that goes right on this hole. Trying to get in position to cover all of the approaches can be really tough. I'll work the excuses for you, AJ. Don't worry, buddy. I got you. Let's see if Armando can take the birdie. Yeah. Ricky also picks up the birdie. So the two guys that struggled on the previous hole look like they're going to play a little catch up here. Is Kohltrain just pre-waving at his fans? Is that what he was doing? Always got to be that guy. All right. We're going to move over to hole 16. Just 3 holes left to play. 530 feet. Matt and Josh Graham and the rest of the crew over at Kids Disc Golf. Huge help to my channel. Huge help to the area. Huge help, obviously, to all kids disc golf anywhere in the country. Thank you for all the things you guys are doing. This comes in as the 5th most difficult hole. 3.4 is the average for round 3. So what I find incredible as I'm looking at some of the stats thanks to our friends at UDisc is it seems as if this hole got harder as the weekend went on for our players. Somehow this hole got a little bit tougher and Nikko doesn't quite stay clean, catching a tree on that right side. Alright, Kohltrain's got a little work to do to save his par. See Lisa Fakis out here taking in the action. In 2019, the FPO division played in the mornings. A little change up from where we're at in the afternoons in 2020.
That's how you do it.
And really pushing all the way to the left side. We saw Gary Patton over there during round number 1. And it looks like a pretty successful approach shot. Alright, the other comment I'd like for you guys to leave, I think in the opening holes I asked you guys if it's true that you can nice someone's disc, or you talking to it if you like it or you dislike it. I'd like your opinions there. Here's my question, my second question that I want you to comment on, and this is going to also make you eligible to win a giveaway that I'm going to put together. Do you think Nikko dyed that polo himself? Tie-dyed that polo? That's the question. Oh. Ricky just doesn't seem to have his kind of deadly putting that we're used to seeing from him. And Armando, who's got about 900 feet of collective putting this particular round, somehow doesn't get that one to drop for him. That's a solid par save. So yeah, leave it in the comments. Truth be told, I've got to ask Nikko. I really don't know. It was a question I just thought of, is if he dyed that shirt himself. No bias, but I think he did. All right, they've got a long walk as they're going to move over. Armando, unfortunately, struggling there. They got a long walk to get them up to hole number 17. Smashbox TV, providing you live disc golf coverage, working with the Disc Golf Network, but also Tuesday night podcast. And this is usually a two-shot hole, although we've seen some pretty incredible eagles. You're trying to get to this opening, maybe right about here would be the perfect landing zone. That's giving you a 160, maybe 180 feet approach to the pin. However, we've seen some incredible turnover shots that filter all the way up to the basket.
Flex. Stable. So close.
The gallery likes it. Ricky didn't necessarily. But I also feel like if Ricky's not acing a hole, he doesn't necessarily love the shot. Nikko.
Oh my god, Nikko. Oh my fucking god.
A little extra run up for him.
Really?
Okay, he really did. Let's see if that's getting enough turn. I don't want to say that guarantees you a 4, but you really need to be in a good position, I feel like, in order to set yourself up for the birdie here, or possibly even an eagle. Actually, this isn't as far left as I thought, so he's in good position. It's just a little bit back from where I was expecting him. And if he can read that green well, he's going to have a look.
Oh no, dude, you just bail out on the.
Oh yeah. No, my handle's bent, so it's tricky.
I use the chamois too. These things are dope in the rain.
Uh-oh. There's a yard sale going on. Hole 17. Looks like Ricky Wysocki's got a yard sale happening. Discount all Ricky Wysocki discs.
Get in there.
We saw in previous rounds that this comes in as one of the easiest holes on the course, and Ricky has an eagle look at it from less than 50 feet. And even here in round 4, this still is relative to par. It's the easiest hole on the course, averaging 3.7. Spoiler alert, there's a pair of eagles. Double spoiler alert, you probably already watched them in coverage that was released earlier. Easy work for Locastro. Now Ricky's left with that for birdie after trying metal on the eagle attempt, and we've got just one hole left to play. So for the 100th time, I have to send the shout out. AJ Risley with the bum wrist out here getting the bonus footage so that I could bring it to you both with and without commentary. That's thanks to my Patreon account. So thank you to all the Patreon subscribers and members. Really appreciate all the support. Got to thank Gatekeeper Media along with the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and of course not only the whole sponsors that were mentioned throughout, but also MVP, who is the title sponsor of this year's event, as they have been for a couple years. Ricky, we'll see if that's got enough distance for him to attack the green.
Oh my goodness, Nico. Oh my goodness. That's it. Guess that's a layup for
Again, he's like my second commentator. I appreciate it, Nico. That's a good pull. We'll see what he can do from there. The question is, does the gallery, does the crowd amp him up to go for that second shot? And not too often do we see a forehand off the tee on 18, but Armando's been doing his thing. He goes just short of what I believe is the women's tee that got played here during this year's event. And as he said after he threw, that's really just kind of a layup zone, unfortunately. Now he's got work to do. That was not his best effort for a layup. Stay clean. Oh, yeah. Forehand by Armando, and trying to close it out in style. What a great shot. Armando, thanks for letting us watch this round. It was a pleasure. Here's Kohltrain. Man, what a great group. Camaraderie, sportsmanship among these guys, it's been absolutely awesome. And I just have to thank all of the viewers, everybody that tuned in. I know it's a little late. It's bonus coverage. It's coverage we wouldn't have otherwise seen. And I hope you guys can take it for that. I got a smile on my face watching this, and it's many months after the event's taken place. Maybe that's just the beverage I've been drinking. Kohltrain trying to close it out. Oh, no. No, the nerves. Those have got to be nerves. Well, maybe not. He canned the huge putt on 8. He canned the huge putt a few holes later over on 14. There's just so much excitement and anticipation in the air here. Kohltrain puts himself on the green. Oh. That's heartbreaking. And you can hear a pin drop, unfortunately. Oh, you could. Kohltrain's gonna dip to 7. Nico pars out. And there we have it, folks. That is your 2019 MVP Open. Again, thank you to all of you guys for watching. Here are your final results, which I'm sure you're well aware of. Paul McBeth, your champion. Ricky, with his play, shot up 7 spots into a tie for 9th, as he made the biggest move that we saw. So it was great to go out and cover that round. Thank you to AJ. Thank you to Steve Dodge, MVP, everyone else involved. We love you guys. And what can I say? That closes out the 2019 MVP Open. We'll see you in 2020.